Think stock. Unless you're planning to hibernate for the winter, it'll be hard to avoid the gamut of holiday parties during the fall and winter seasons. Once the festivities begin, you'll probably be face to face with foods you've been trying to avoid all year: cookies, cakes, and pies, not to mention rich and creamy sauces, casseroles, and more. Sure, you could stop at one or two bites, but will you? People with diabetes can definitely enjoy a bite here or there of that pecan or pumpkin pie, says Caroline L. Suzy, RDN, Employee Wellness Manager for the Methodist Health System in Dallas. The problem is that most of us overindulge. Here's a better idea: instead of tossing half of your dessert, try making your favorite holiday treats with healthier ingredients, paying attention not just to sugar, fat, and cholesterol, but overall calories, too. It's easier than you think. Adding holiday spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, and seasonal foods, pumpkin, cranberries, can add plenty of flavor without spiking blood sugar. Here are 9 ingredient swaps for scrumptious, healthier eating. Think stock replaces sour cream, mayo. Heavy cream. The creaminess of Greek yogurt makes it a wonderful substitute for mayo or sour cream, Suzy says. Bonus, it also contains a healthy amount of protein, probiotics, and calcium. Try it in a seasoned dip, casserole, soup, or sauce. Suzy suggests using 2% plain Greek yogurt instead of the fat-free varieties, since a little bit of fat can keep you feeling full longer. However, she says, if you're counting calories, you can pick a non-fat version. Think stock replaces butter. Plain applesauce, pureed prunes, and mashed bananas are all excellent substitutions for butter, says Dominic Lewis, a faculty member of the Culinary Arts program at ECPI University and owner of Sweet Chef in Norfolk, Virginia. Not only are fruit purees lower in fat, but they also provide valuable nutrients. Consider flavor and color when you select a puree. For example, pureed prunes could be used in chocolate recipes like brownies, while applesauce has a more neutral flavor and may be preferred for other baked goods, she says. For a firmer texture, choose pureed bananas or even avocado. Think stock replaces butter because saturated fats like butter can increase your cholesterol. The American Diabetes Association, ADA, recommends people use healthier options like canola and olive oil instead. Canola oil has a lighter flavor that pairs well with pastries and baked goods, whereas olive oil can be a good substitute in savory dishes. Think stock replaces white flour. Whole grain flour offers more nutrients and fiber than refined white flour, according to the ADA. When baking, you may only want to replace half of the all-purpose flour with a whole wheat version, advises Kimberly Gomer, Road, registered dietitian and educator at the Pritikin Longevity Center Spa in Miami. In some recipes, replacing more than that could result in too heavy a baked good, both in taste and consistency, she adds. Or, rather than choosing regular whole wheat flour, experiment with whole wheat pastry flour and white whole wheat flour, which often give lighter results. Think stock replaces eggs. If you've been told to limit the number of eggs you eat, you can make a replacement out of flaxseed. The Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine recommends people combine 1 tablespoon of flaxseed with 3 tablespoons of water and 1 tablespoon each of oil, baking powder, and cornstarch to get a mixture that offers the same binding action as eggs. You can also use egg-free replacer powder, which is typically mixed with water, Lewis says. Think stock replaces heavy cream. Heavy cream is an ingredient in dishes from soups to pasta to desserts. Instead of opting for the full-fat kind, try using half and half or fat-free half and half. Other options include Greek yogurt, skim milk thickened with cornstarch, or a non-dairy alternative of pureed tofu with soy, almond, or rice milk. If you can't part with the flavor of heavy cream, try using a 1-to-1 replacement with any of the options here. This simple swap will still cut down on calories and fat tremendously. Think stock replaces salt. It's hard to cut out salt completely, especially when it's an integral part of a recipe like bread, Lewis says. But sometimes you can cut the amount of salt in half. As you cut back on salt, add in herbs like rosemary and thyme, and spices like cumin or pepper to give casseroles, soups, and sauces a richer flavor. Think stock replaces chocolate. All the antioxidants in chocolate are found in cocoa powder, without the fat. Gomer says, you can use it in place of melted chocolate in cakes by adding some vanilla, a dash of salt, sweetener, and a fruit puree or oil for moisture. For recipes that absolutely require chocolate, Lewis recommends using small quantities of a high-quality dark version for its deep flavor. Unsweetened cocoa also works nicely in a homemade hot chocolate. Steam or froth a plant-based milk, such as almond or soy milk, and whisk in cocoa powder, cinnamon, vanilla, and other flavorings or spices to create a delicious, low-calorie hot drink. It can taste pretty rich. Gomer says, think stock replaces white rice if you're making a casserole. Trade in white rice for nutritious whole grains like farro or quinoa, Gomer suggests. To save on calories, you can also replace some of the grains with added vegetables. One example, riced cauliflower, which is made by putting florets in a food processor for a few seconds. Other great low-calorie options include mushrooms, green beans, broccoli, and slices of squash. All these swaps add fiber, nutrients,